Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the second practical session of Programming Fundamentals. Okay, before starting the practical session, can someone respond whether am I audible to you or not?
Yeah, audible, sir.
Okay. Okay, the second lab sheet is available here, and before going to the lab sheet, I want to give you some introduction of C compilation process. Okay, now you know from the previous lectures and labs, what does it mean by a compilation? Okay, so when you have a source code, when you use a compiler, you will get this kind of particular machine code. Okay, let's take source code. So you guys, if you are not wish to speak, if you don't have any question, it's better you mute your mics. Okay. So when you get the source code, you need to use the compiler and you will get the machine code. The machine code is an executable file. Okay, if it is a Windows environment, that is a exe file. If it is a Mac OS, it can be DNG or likewise. The file extension may be different, but however, you will get a machine executable file. Okay, so once you get this kind of compiler, so you will get the machine source code to the machine code, but there are intermediate process available. Okay, what does it mean by an intermediate process? When you are using the compiling, before compiling, there is a pre-processing parts. Okay, I'll explain you one by one the pre-processing part. I think you guys learned this one in the lecture also, isn't it? Then you guys has a better idea. Then I will just give you the uh, summary of the compilation process. Okay. Did you learn the steps of the compilation process in the lecture? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Then I will give you the brief summary. So there is a pre-processing, and after that compiling, after the compilation, there can be several object files. That object files you need to, sorry, after compiling, you will get the assembly file. After the assembly file, you will get several object files. The object file should be linked together. Then ultimately, you will get an executable file. Okay, the compilation process is available. First, you need the source code. After that, the preprocessor, then you will get the expanded code. That expanded code you need to compile. After the compile, you will get an assembly code. After that, the assembler, you can get the object codes. Then the object codes, you need to convert it to the executable file. Okay. So that means take the source code. Let's say SC. SC means source code. You need to use the preprocessor. Preprocessor. Then after you preprocess, you will get an expanded code. Expanded. Source code mean for an example, let's say your source code is first.c or hello.c likewise. Let's say hello.c, that is the source code. Okay. When the compilation process, intermediately you need to expand. Then after the expand, you will get that expanded file we called. You can use the same name or different name. Let's say same name. Hello. The extension is I after you expand. Okay, that pre-processing. Now, when the pre-processing is completed, then you can use the compiler. Okay, once you use the compiler, you can get the assembly code. assembly code. Okay, you can use the same name for the assembly code, a different name. I will use the same name. Hello. The assembly code extension, that file extension is S. Okay. After that, the assembly code you need to convert to the object code. Object code by using the assembler. Okay. So sometimes there can be more than one object codes. Okay. Once you use the assembler, the hello.s is converted to the object called hello.o. Okay. So based on your programming, that how you wrote the source code, there can be multiple files available. So to be included, then it can be a hello.o. Let's see, hello1.o. Let's say file.o. Likewise, there can be multiple object files. Okay. Now, after you create these object files, then you need to use the link. Okay, we call linker. Once you use the linker, then you will get the executable file. Executable file. Executable file is the exe file. Then you will get hello.exe. Okay, so I will use a different color for the compilation. Okay, now you know that if you need to compile, what is the compilation code you have to use for this compiler? You need to use the GCC compiler, GCC. After that, the source file, let's say source file is hello.c. After that, minus O mean object file, then you can put object file. Object file can be ABC, or if you want, you can use the hello also. You can use whatever the name you like. Okay, then hello is the exe file. Okay, and this is a source code. Once you execute this one, the whole compilation part, that from here to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, the whole compilation process happen, and you will get the final output when you write this one. All the 5 steps happen, and you will get the final output. But if you want, you can get that individual files. Okay, if you want, first, if you need to get the hello.i, you need to put the part called where can I write here, GCC, and you need to put the source file hello.c. After that, if you need to get this expanded file, expanded, that e should be provided as a parameter. That means minus capital E. This is not the simple E, this is capital E. After that, you can provide the output file minus O. So hello.i. Hello.io, abc.i, or kk.i, whatever the name. However, extension should be I. Then you will get this expanded code. Okay. So once you get the expanded code, that hello.i, you can get the assembly code. How do you get the assembly code? Again, you can write GCC. Then this is your input file. Okay, hello, that expanded code is the input file, that hello.i. Hello.i. Then you have assembly code is S. So you have to use the minus S. It is simple S. Okay, minus simple S. And after that, you can provide the output file minus O hello.so, whatever the name. Hello.s. Okay, now I think you guys can see my screen properly, that whiteboard. Isn't it? Can someone respond whether this is visible to you or not?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yes. Okay, now when you use this command, you can get the hello.s. Okay, then this assembly code can convert to the object code by using the GCC compiler again. GCC. Now this is the input file, hello.s. This is the input file, hello.s. And if you want to get the object code, I can't remember, it might should be minus C, and after that the object output file minus O, you can use a hello.o or whatever the one, hello.o. Okay, and remember that there can be multiple files. You can create multiple files. According to this example, you will get only hello.o. However, you can get the that object code using GCC hello.s and minus C minus O and hello.o. Okay, once you have several object codes, then you need to link. Okay, according to this example, now you will get only one object code. You need to use the link and get the final code. How do you get this one? Now hello.o is your what do you call input file. So here you can use GCC hello.o. If you have multiple file, you have to put the space hello.1, so hello1.o, and you have another file.o. Okay. After that, you have to provide the minus o and final output hello.exe. Just hello is enough, then it automatically put the exe file. You need to put all the source file, all the object files here, hello.o, whatever the one. However, according to this example, you will get only a one file. Therefore, I put hello.o. After that, minus o and abc. That means output file. Here, output is hello. Therefore, I will use minus o hello. So this is the entire compilation process. Okay. Now I think you guys has a proper idea of how to get the compilation. If you put gcc hello.c minus o without any intermediate parameter minus e or minus s or whatever the one, if you do not provide the intermediate parameter, it directly convert it to the machine code. මේ වගේ මැද්දේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ minus e ද minus s ද එහෙම මේ අතර මැද්දේ ඕව ඕන් නැහැ කිව්වොත් එහෙම එයා directly convert කරනවා මේක ඔක්කොම කරලා link කරලා ඔක්කොම කරලා exe file එක දෙන්න. So you can get the executable file. Okay, but if you need the intermediate files, you can get the intermediate files. Okay, now I will give you the little bit explanation. What does it mean by the pre-processing? The first part I told you, when you get the source code, you will get the preprocessor and you can get the expanded code. Okay, what does it mean by the preprocessor? Okay, preprocessor take care of this stage. Preprocessor goes to the entire source code and remove any comments. Okay, you know that you can write the source code let's say hash include stdio dot. I don't know whether you guys can see this one properly, or do I need to increase the font size? Can you guys see this my text file, or do I need to increase the font size?
Sir, can you increase it a little bit?
Okay, I think is it okay now?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, hash include stdio, and you can write int main after that printf. Say you need to write hello world. Okay. So comment mean for the identification for that mean for the understanding purpose of a particular source code, the developer can put his idea. For an example, hello world. Suppose that you guys don't know what does it mean by hello world, printf hello world, then you can put a comment. Comment should be start from two forward slashes. Sorry, backslashes, no? Actually, I can't remember the forward. What is the comment line? Do you forward or backslash? Yeah, forward slash. Here you can put whatever the idea. Let's say this line prints hello world on screen likewise. Okay, so this is a comment line. There are several ways of writing comment. This is a one way of writing the comment. Okay. Okay, now what happened? Do we need to compile this line? Yes or no? Do we need to compile this line by the compiler? No, that is a comment. Okay, that means we need to remove that one. Okay, that is why the preprocessor take place. So here I told you, preprocessor, before compiling, it remove the comments from the source code. And after that, expand the macros. Okay, at this moment, you may not understand what does it mean by macro. Macro means it is like a particular task, a particular function should be executed before the compilation process. It will be executed and get the output of a particular expression and save it before the compilation. Okay, don't worry that you will learn this one in the future lab session. What does it mean by macros? However, at this moment, remember that macros should be expanded before the compilation. Like comments. Comments should be removed and macros should be expanded before the compilation. Okay. And expand the included files. Okay, what does it mean by included file here? So there are include files. Okay, that should be expanded. Why? Because you know there is a printf command available. Okay, that compiler doesn't know. Sorry, compiler doesn't know what does it mean by a printf. That means how does this printf function work? Okay, it is included in this stdio.header file. Therefore, before the compilation process, this header file should be expanded. Okay, in order to execute the printf function, this include files should be expanded. That's happened before the compilation. Okay, remove the command, expand the macros, and expand the included files. Okay, so source code get expanded, then your source code get expanded. So command is gcc hello.c minus e minus o I. Okay, you can see this one. So first we can create a folder. I will create a folder in my drive. Let's say B B22 folder. So under this B22 folder, I am going to save my files. Okay. So here I am using the Mac operating system. Sometimes you may not familiar with the Mac operating system. So this is also a particular folder or directory. Okay, that means you know in the Windows there is a C drive available. After that C you have the program files, such things. No, also here also. So I am in my Macintosh ID, and there are several files before the root folder, and there's a users folder, and there's a particular user call this Akila Varnapura my user, and under my that file there is a folder called B22. Don't worry about this operating system stuff. You guys can save this file wherever the location you like in the Windows environment. Okay. So now I am going to save this file. So here I use file, save. So it asks where to save. So here I use my folder structure. I put this one inside. Where is B22? Yeah, here B22. So I select this one and put a particular name. Let's say hello.c. Okay, you guys use the normal notepad. In the Windows users, you may use the traditional that notepad. Then use the hello.c, and here the you have to use the all, that mean say in the Windows environment you have to use the all files, but in the Mac operating system it doesn't. When you use the hello.c, you can save the file as hello.c. Here you can see the hello.c file is available. Okay, the file extension is the C source code. Okay, now I am going to compile this one using the steps. First step is, that expanded code, GCC minus, so GCC hello.c minus E and minus O hello.I. So what you can do, so you need to open the command prompt in the Windows environment, but in the Mac operating system or Linux operating system, you don't have a command prompt, but instead you will get the terminal. Okay, you can get the terminal by using the search bar. So in the Mac operating system, you can see there is a Spotlight search available here. Okay, under the Spotlight search, I use the terminal. Okay, for the Windows users, you can get the command prompt. Okay, I don't know whether this terminal is visible to you. That font size. Do I need to increase the font size of the terminal, or is it visible? Hello, I think you guys are there. Do I need to expand the terminal font size? Increase?
It's visible, but it's better if you can increase it.
Okay. I think now it's visible, no? Okay, now this is the my terminal. So first I need to that I did this one in the previous lab session, how to go to your folder, that change directory, go to the previous directory. After that you can come to the your directory. That here my directory is B22. So what you guys do, if you are in whatever the different folder structure, you can come to the your home folder using change directory and backslash. Okay, then what you can do, you can write ls command. Sorry, you have to use cd and backslash. Wait. Am I currently in the same folder? Right, I'll open the terminal again. Okay. So I am currently in the, I will increase the font size. Actually, I am currently in the parent folder that may, so this folder. So I need to go inside the B22 folder. Therefore, I use CD B22. Okay, it is not required to go to the root folder. So now you can see in the Mac operating system, you are inside the B22 folder. Okay, so you can get the whatever the available directory inside the B22 folder. So there are several folders available. Yeah, you have only the hello.c. So you can ensure that you are currently in the correct folder using the ls command. It will show you have only the hello.c. Okay, if you need to get the whatever the available folders and directory in the Windows environment, you have to type the dir and press enter. Okay, but in the Mac operating system, dir won't work because Mac operating system, you have to use the Linux command because Mac operating system based on Unix environment. Therefore, I need to use the ls. Okay, don't worry that these commands will be learned in the upcoming semesters. Okay, currently you can move to the your particular folder using cd whatever the folder name. After that, you can see your the whatever the files available. Now you can use your compilation process. Okay, now this is your folder. Okay, what is the command to be typed? You need to type gcc and put the source file hello.c. You can type whatever 1 or 2 letters. After that, press tab. Okay, then hello.c. After that, minus capital E. After that, minus O. Remember that this is capital E. Others are simple. Minus O, it is simple. And the output file name hello.i. Okay. Then you can press enter. Okay. Now you can see hello.i. That particular file has been created. Okay, you can just open in a simple text editor or notepad. You will get this expanded file. Okay, that means expanded file mean what do you call that you wrote several things, no? That hash input stdio, that file has been expanded, and whatever the command lines has been removed. So this is your expanded file. Okay, so I'll open the source file also. Right click, open with text file. So this is your source file. Once you expand it, you will get this kind of expanded file. Okay, so you can see that that stdio file has been expanded. It is available under the developer in the Mac operating system users. The what your expanded file may be different because the files may be in different location. However, that include, you can see hash include file has been expanded. Okay, now the next one is, now you have the expanded code. Now we can compile and get the assembly code. Okay. Stage 2, compiling. Once you compile, the C compiler is the tool for use here. Okay. Then the check for valid syntax of C language. It will check whether you have completely written this one in a proper way. I open this one. Whether it is syntaxically correct. Suppose that now the semicolon is missing, then compiler give you an error. Okay. It check for valid syntax of C language. And if any wrong syntax found, it throws an error. Convert the pre-processed code. That means pre-processed code mean here I put you the pre-processed code. That means hello.i. That pre-process, convert that pre-processed code into the assembly code. Okay. Okay. What does it mean by an assembly code? you know that when you are going to convert, the source code will convert to the machine code. No? Okay. Intermediate, you will get the assembly code. Okay. What does it mean by an assembly code? So this is the output of assembly file. Okay. So actually machine code and the assembly code are both low-level representation of instruction that computer central processing unit can understand. That means CPU. Both machine language as well as assembly language can be identified, that means can be executed by the computer CPU, central processing unit. Okay. But they differ in their level of abstraction and human readability. Okay, you know there are assembly code and the machine code, but both the assembly code and the machine code, it can be that mean execute, that mean read by the CPU, but there are different. What is the different? Different mean actually it is abstraction level and the human readability. Okay, that means if you get the machine code, okay, that means executable code. Okay, not the assembly code. If you get the executable code, that means machine code. Actually, the machine code is the lowest level of the programming language that consists of the binary code. Binary mean ones and zero. Machine language convert the lowest level of programming language which consists of ones and zeros that directly represent the instruction executed by the CPU. Okay, it can directly execute the instruction given by the CPU. Okay, so actually it is a specific to a particular CPU architecture. Okay, that you will learn what does it mean by architecture. That architecture of a computer may be different from PC to PC. The Windows has a different architecture, Mac OS has a different architecture. Likewise, there is a architecture wise it is that means it is depend. Okay, so I told you that it is that machine code. It is specific to the CPU and architecture, and as well as it is not easily read by the human. That means executable code. Okay, it is ones and zero. Okay, that means users deal with the execute. That means executable code with very rarely. That means programmers, developers. And the developers are executed code එක deal කරන්නේ නැහැ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට. කරන කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා නැති නැත්නම් නැහැ. But because it is very hard to understand that code, the ones and zero. Therefore, developers usually don't interact with the executable code, but the assembly code is somewhat human readable. Okay, both of can be identified the CPU. The assembly code is somewhat human readable. Okay, machine code that CPU executed directly, making the most efficient code from the computer. Okay, that you know the programmers also rarely write or read the machine code directly. Okay, but assembly code can be identified by the developers. They can work with the assembly code also. Okay, and when you come to the assembly code, actually it is slightly higher representation of a machine language. Okay, that means higher represent. Now lowest representation is the executable code. Assembly code is somewhat higher representation of what you call machine language. Okay, higher representation. Okay, so instead of using binary digit, assembly code use the short and symbolic codes to represent the machine instruction. Okay, that I will show you that sample code of the assembly code. It has simple instruction to the CPU that move this file to here, push this file to here. Likewise, it is not in ones and zero. Okay, it has set of instructions. However, that instruction can be understand by the CPU. Okay, now I think you guys has some idea of the what does it mean by assembly code and the executable code. Okay, now what we have to do, now we have the expanded code. from the expanded code, now we are going to convert it to the assembly code. Okay, assembler take care of this stage. Okay, compiler part is over now. Compiler has compiled this one into the expanded code. Sorry, compile is okay. I think I have just expand this one. No, so where is that one? I have did this one. No, now first I need to do the compile and convert this one to the assembly code. Okay. So what we have to do first, I need to use the GCC and the source code is hello.i. Hello.i and space. You have to use -s and after that -o, then hello.s. Okay, then press enter. You can get this hello. This is you can see file is assembly source file hello.s. You can open this one. Okay, this is the actually this is not a binary code. Somewhat it can be still readable by the human being. Okay, now you have the assembly code. Once you compile, you will get the assembly code. Now you will come to the assembling part. Okay, assembler take care of the stage, convert the assembly code into a pure binary code or machine code. Assembler will convert this one, that means assembly code, to the binary code. Okay, that means assembler convert this one to the binary code. That actually before binary, it will create some object file. Object file is also binary file. After that, you have to link that one because assembler convert several executable files because there can be more than one executable file. Sorry, the execute more than one object file, object codes. That object codes next you need to link. Okay. Convert the assembler code to the pure binary code or machine code. So how to do this one? Now hello.s is your source code. You can use GCC and you may use hello.s and convert it to the what do you call executable file. You have to use -c and output file -o. Let's say hello.o. O mean object file. Okay, because once you convert it to the machine code, there can be several files, object files created. Finally, that object files need to be linked together and get the what do you call executable file. Sorry, what happened? We need to use GCC hello.s and -c -o hello dot. Sorry, I think S file is created. There's S file available, that assembly file. Then hello.s, then convert it to the hello.object file. I think there may be mistakes happen. First wait, I'll do this one again. First we need to convert this one to the GCC hello.c -e -o hello.i. Okay, that I file is created. Then GCC hello.I should be converted to the that assembly code hello.s. Actually, what is the code? The hello. Oh, it should be capital S. Okay, that was the mistake. Because when you convert, you need to put the capital S. Okay, that is why it's so minus S is obsolete and B is knows. Okay, and now actually this is the what you call assembly code. Okay, previously, sorry for that one, I mistakenly put the simple S for the converting the assembly code. Now this is the assembly code. Now you can see there are several instructions: push, leave, that, move, those things that can be directly readable by the CPU. Okay, this is set of instruction as well as the human being can understand, not the ones and zero. However, it is very hard to understand, but somewhat the developers can understand this assembly code. Okay, now you have this assembly code. What you have to do, this assembly code need to get, you have to get the object file. Okay, how to get the object file? You have to use gcc hello.s, then minus c, it is simple, minus c, and minus o hello.o. Okay, now you will get the object file. Okay, this is actually we cannot read that one. Okay, this is the object file. Now I told you there can be more than one object files. Therefore, finally that object file should be linked together and create the final executable file. Okay, however, that according to this example, I have only one object file. Therefore, I use the linker to get the final output. You can use gcc hello.o, and if you have another here file, that mean hello1.o, you can use that kind of file, and file 4.o. Likewise, you can put all the output files here by using space. Because but now you have only, now I have only one source file, that means only one object file here. I use put only that object file. After that, minus o, then hello output file name, that means executable file. Okay, and press enter. Okay, now you can see the executable files created. Okay, when you use the link hello, actually I think there is a mistake in this one, gcc for not the source code. You have to provide the what do you call object code. Okay, because when you use the source code, it directly convert to the exe file, that all the process, that mean all the this compilation happen and get the executable file if you pass the C source file. Okay, now I am going to use the object file and minus O and output. After that, you will get that executable file. Okay, now you can run the executable file. In the Windows, you can type hello and press enter. But in the Mac operating system, you cannot directly put whatever the hello. In the Mac operating system, if you want to run this hello, you have to use the dot forward slash after that hello and press enter. Okay, now you can see the output is hello world, because you wrote to print hello world on the screen. Now you can see hello world. Sometimes you may think that why that the command line appear in the same position of hello world, because after the hello world, if you want to go to the next line, you have to provide something called /n. Don't worry, that you will learn later. That /n mean next line. Okay, now I save this file and convert. I directly convert. I'm not going to convert that object file because I need to do this stuff again and again. I directly convert that source file C file to the executable file and press enter. Okay, now you can put hello. Now you can see hello world. After that, the next line is the command prompt line. Any issues up to now? Before going to the today's lab session, any issues up to now?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, so in the preprocessor directive, we are including the standard input output, right, sir?
Yeah, we are include the standard input output header file. Yes.
So when the linking happens, doesn't the linker have to like include the files mentioned?
So I didn't get
The
you.
object in this example, when we are outputting the linker file, we are just saying ECC hello.s and then -c -o hello.out. During the process, only one object code is getting generated. That's hello.out, right, sir?
That means using this hello.c -o and hello, this one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you put the source file
Yes.
and hello, the entire process happened. Entire process happened, and it will give you the output file. Okay, that gcc hello.c -o hello. That entire process, that means pre-processing, compiling, assembling, linking, everything happened, and after that you will get the hello file. But if you need the intermediate file, you have to use that correct parameter before the -o. Did you ask that one or any other thing?
So what I asked was, if there are certain files that are linked to the standard input output header files, right, sir? So don't they have object codes that should be included in this program?
I'll check and let you know. Usually is that if you have that several object files, that mean if you include that, suppose that now there is another source code available in a different place. Okay, then you need to include that one. Suppose that include hash include. Let's say you have my file dot C or something need to be included. Then do not use this open and that means less than or greater than sign. Then you have to include that one. Then there can be I'll check and let you know whether I don't know in this one you will get a different object file. Sometimes if you use this one, there can be a separate object file. Then you need to link them together before you come to the final output. Did you ask that part or?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was right.
If you have
Thank you,
that, if you want to execute this one, sometimes you can include some your another C files that be written in somewhere else. Okay, if you need to include that one also, you can include in that way. Okay, any other question? No questions. If you have any question, you can unmute your mic and ask, or otherwise you can use the chat session. Okay, now I think you guys have a proper idea of the compiling stage, and now I will move to the lab sheet. How to write a simple C program. Okay, and here and onwards, I am not going to use this traditional compilation process. Now you know how to do the traditional this compilation process. This is the entire compilation process. This is the one by one steps, one by one for the compilation process. Okay. And from here and onwards, I use the IDE for the C programming. Okay. We already installed the C-Lion IDE. We can use the C-Lion IDE for the developing, that mean writing your codes. Okay. Then you can directly execute these files using the IDE. Okay. The first one is the program structure. The C program basically consists of the following parts: the preprocessor commands, functions, variables, statements and executes, and the comments. Okay. So don't worry that the preprocessor commands, that mean there are there are so many preprocessor commands available. You'll be learn those things in future lab session. And functions, so that mean function mean it is do a particular task separately, so that we call the functions. Don't worry that functions also you will be learn later. And the variables you learn today, and the statements and expression and comments also we can learn on today's lab session. Okay, this is a sample what do you call sample C program. Okay, so I will write this one using the C-Lion IDE. You can open the C-Lion. Okay, you can open a new project and select C executable. After that, you may use the create. Okay, the sample C file is created on behalf of you. You can modify the this source code. Okay. Is this font size is visible to you, or do I need to increase? Do I need to increase the font size of the IDE?
So it's readable, but I think if you increase it a bit, it will be nice, right? Because anyway, the program is not that big, right?
Okay. How I can increase this one? I think, yeah, this way it's possible. Is it okay now?
Wait a second.
Okay. Now, first one is the printf. I copy this one and paste it here. And we can run this program. You can see welcome to UOM. Okay. Hash include stdio.header file. Okay, don't worry about this return type called int and the parameter called void. You will be learn those things later. At this moment, I cannot explain that return type int and the void part. Think that this is the main program. Okay, so there are sub-programs also available. You'll be learn later. Sub-programs we called as a different name called functions and macros. You'll be learn later. However, this is the main program, that means main function. Therefore, we have to use the main here, and here you can put whatever the instruction to be executed. The printf welcome to UOM, then it prints the welcome to UOM on the screen. Okay. And you can rewrite this one in a different way. That means without this void part. Int main return 0. Don't worry, you will be understand that part later. What does that mean by return? Welcome to UOM. Okay, the code explanation, I already explained this code in the previous lab session also. The hash input stdioh, this is a directive in the C preprocessor. Lines beginning with hash. Hash mean it is the preprocessor command. Okay, that means preprocessor. You know that there are in the compilation process, I told you first one is the pre-processing. No, that means remove comments, expand macros, expand included files. No, if it is a macro or what do you call expanded files, that mean need to be included file need to be expanded. That should be starting with the hash. Okay, that preprocessor identified these things should be preprocessed and expanded. Okay, which hash are the processed by the preprocessor before the compilation. It tells the preprocessor to include this content of the standard input and output header file. That means the preprocessor tell to the compiler what does it mean by this hash include.h. Okay, I told you that compiler doesn't understand this printf. Therefore, before the compilation, there is a preprocessor, expand this one and give the instruction to the compiler. This is the way of printing. This is the way of printf works. සිංහලෙන් කියනවා නම් දැන් compiler දන්නේ නැහැ මේක මොකද්ද කරන්න කියලා. හරි? ඒක ලියලා තියෙන්නේ මේකේ හින්දා compiler වෙන්න කලින් pre-process part එකේ මේක expand කරලා දෙනවා. expand කරලා කියනවා printf වැඩ කරන්නේ මෙහෙමයි කියලා. printf විතර නෙමෙයි මේකේ ගොඩාක් දේවල් තියෙනවා. ඒ වැඩ කරන හැටි කියලා තියෙනවා. ඒ කියලා තියෙන ඒවා තමයි මෙන්න මේ expand කරලා කියනවා වැඩ කරන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා. Then compiler can understand how the printf works. Okay? Then if you have any comments, that means starting from here, this is a comment. Okay, when you execute, that line will automatically ignored by the preprocessor, and preprocessor gives only relevant part to the compiler. Okay, it remove this hash include and give the expanded one. මේක අයින් කරලා expand කරලා දෙනවා. මේක අයින් කරලාම දාන මේක තේරුමක් නැහැ. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි compiler දෙන්නේ, compiler compile කරන්නේ. Okay, and now suppose that now you need to write the next command line. Then again this one, comment 2. If you need another comment, comment 3. Okay, but if you put comment 4 likewise, so this is not a comment because starting the comment line is not there. Therefore, you have to provide this one. Okay, but if you need to write this kind of multiple lines without using this kind of thing, you can use this way. Okay, that means suppose that these are the comments lines. There are 4 comments lines available. Okay, but if you execute this one, it will give you an error because it doesn't know what does it mean by this, what does it mean by comment. These are comments line. Therefore, comments lines, multiple comments line you can use in this way. That means / after that, whatever the comments, after that star and /. That means you can put /star. / mean these are the comment line. And here the ending of the comment line. Therefore, you have to use star and /. Starting of the comment and ending of the comment. In the middle, you can use whatever the comment you like. That is another way of putting the comments. Then you can execute. Yes. You can see these. If you put anything in between / star and /, that will be ignored by the preprocessor. Okay, int main, this is the part of the every C program. The parentheses after the main program include that main program building block called function. Okay, sometimes at this moment you may not understand what does it mean by parentheses, this kind of thing. Okay, so you will learn those things in the future lab session. So for the today's lab session, you can read up to the whatever the things here and get some basic idea of what does it mean by this open parentheses. That mean open and closing parentheses. දැන්ට සමහරක් වෙලාවට ඔයගොල්ලන්ට තේරෙන්නේ නැති වෙයි මොනකොටද මේ open parentheses තියෙන්නේ, අයි මේ int එකක් දාලා තියෙන්නේ. ඇයි මේ වෙන්න මේක මෙහෙම කරලා තියෙන්නේ මෙහෙම මොකද්ද කියන්නේ මේ block starting blocks මේවා. So these are the starting blocks. That if this is the main program, this is the starting of the main program, and this is the ending of the main program. Okay, we need to define the block of the main program. That is the meaning of this part. But don't worry, you will learn those things in the future lab session. Why there should be parentheses, those things, and why there is a int here. Okay, return type. Okay, next one is print in multiple statements. Okay, we can print more than one statement in I remove this comment. Printf. Now you can see that advantages of the IDE. When you type print, it can see it automatically suggests it is a printf. Okay, then you can press enter. After that, within the double quotes, you can put. So what is the ask? Welcome to UOM. Okay, that welcome. The to UOM I remove from here and put it to the here. Then you have to use the semicolon because each line should be separated by semicolon. So remember that when you write a C program, there is a sequence happen. Okay, so you will need to learn the control structure of the C program. The control structure of the C program is sequence, selection, and repetition. Okay, sequence mean read the instructions one by one, and the selection and repetition you will learn later. Usually when you write a C program, the compiler execute one by one. The line 1 won't be executed by the compiler. Line 1 will be pre-processed and expanded by the preprocessor. Okay, then line 2 and onwards, that compiler start. Okay, it go to this one, line 2 int main. If you have any comment, that will be removed. Then line 4, line 5, line 6, likewise compiler execute the, that mean convert this line to the machine code. Okay, first execute this one, convert to the machine code, after that this one, after that this. When you run this program, you can see welcome to UOM. Okay, sometimes you may think that I put the welcome in the first line and the to UOM the second line, but output is in a single line. The reason is it asks to print the welcome. After that, it asks to print the UOM. Therefore, it print everything in the same line. Okay, if you need to go to the next line, you have to specifically instruct to the compiler, go to the next line. If you want to go to the next line, there are several ways. One way is you can give the command using the printf/n. Okay, /n mean go to the next line. Okay, then when you go to the execute, you can see welcome, after that to UOM. This one go to the next line. Okay, you can write this one in this way, or otherwise you can remove this one and put the /n here. Okay, welcome and go to the next line. After that, second line, print u to UOM. Now you can see welcome to UOM. And there's another way, that here what happened, print the welcome and space, after that go to the next line. Okay, you can remove this one, print welcome, do not go to the next line. And the printf, before you print to UOM, you can go to the next line, /n. Before print the to UOM, go to the next line, then print to UOM. Then also you can get the same output. Okay, so likewise, so what does it mean by /n is the go to the next line. Okay, likewise, there are several escape sequence available. Escape sequence mean this is the escape character. Slash mean escape character. Why it is the escape character? Because if you remove this one, compiler think that n to be printed on the screen. Then what happen? It will use welcome n to UOM. දැන් මේ ෆ්ලෑෂ් එක තිබ්බේ නැත්නම් මොකද හිතන්නේ? කම්පයිලර් හිතනවා මේ n කියන එකත් print කරන්න ඕන එකක් කියලා. Okay? Therefore, what you have to do, if the n is a special character, that means go to the next line. The meaning of n is go to the next line. So if you want to instruct that one, you have to put slash, that means backslash in front of the special character. Okay. Then computer can identify n is not a character to be printed, but it is an instruction to go to the next line. Okay. Likewise, there is another thing. Slash t. It is a horizontal tab. That means put a tab space on the screen. For an example, let's say welcome to UOM. I print likewise. Okay, the two UOM available. Suppose that two and the UOM, there should be a tab space, not a one space. It should be tab space. So then you can use slash t. Okay, slash t means there should be a tab space between two and UOM. So when you run this program, you can see there is a tab space, not a one single space. It is a tab space. Okay, likewise, there is another one, alert. Alert mean produce a sound or visible alert without changing the current cursor position. Okay, suppose that you put here slash a. Okay, it will give you a alert sound, but that means computer default alert sound. Okay, so you can see that one. However, that IDE doesn't support for the alert part. That is why it show you that there is a bell. Bell mean bell sound will be will be output. So if you can get this one using the traditional compiler. Okay, that mean get this source file. So here somewhere here I will put slash a. Okay, then I am going to compile. Sorry, this file is not there. And save and compile. Okay, now I'm going to run. Is the output? Sorry. Well, you can see there is a bell sound when you execute. I think you guys can hear that one, isn't it? Okay, just a single that notification sound is playing while you are executing when you use the A. Any questions up to here? And next one is print the backslash. Okay, that you know that if you put backslash here, computer think that L will be a special character. Okay, if you use slash E, that mean let's say there is a welcomed likewise. But if you use slash here, sorry, let's say welcome n available, then you put slash, it will identify this is a special character. Okay, but if you need to print slash here, well slash come, then you have to use a double slash. That means slash is a special character. Okay, therefore you have to provide the slash should be printed, therefore you have to provide another slash in front of that. Okay, then you guys can print welcome. And next one is print the double quotes. Okay, you know the double quotes indicate the starting and ending of the program. If you want to put the double quotes here in the middle, then computer think that program is that this well and co should be printed, and there is a command called me. Okay, that is not the command. Still, it is a part of the printf statement. Therefore, the single quotes is a special character. Therefore, you have to provide slash in front of that. That means this double quote should be printed. Okay, then you can run this one. You can see this double quotes is now print. So those are the escape characters available. And the next one is the data types. Okay, user inputs and the variables. Data types, user inputs and the variable. Following are the example of some very common data types in C programming language. Okay, when you are working with the programming language, that means you need to use the data types. Okay, first one is char, char. Okay, the most common basic data type in C programming language. It stores a single character and required the single bytes of memory in almost of all compilers. Okay, single byte mean 8 bits. Okay, now I think you guys sometimes may know what does it mean by byte and bit. Okay, now you know the computer store the values in bit stream. So I'll show that one. So this we call 8 bits. You can store values. Computer store the values using binary format, ones and zeros. You can use 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1 likewise. Okay. Now there are 8 bits available. 8 bits mean it is 1 byte. 1 byte is equal to the 8 bits. We call this is 1 byte. Okay. If you get this kind of char takes in the memory 8 bits. That means 1 bytes. તમે char කියන data type එක ගත්තොත් එහෙම computer එකේ memory එකේ bits 8ක් use කරනවා ඒක save කරගන්න. Okay. You can use whatever the characters that A, B, C, D, hash or whatever the characters it use. You can store only one character. Okay. It take 8 bits. And 8 bit mean 1 byte. And the next one is int. Int mean, as the name suggests, int is a variable used to store an integer. Integer mean actually it is a whole number. If you want to store, what do you call, numbers like 10, 20, 45, minus 7, 10, 20, minus 7, 45, 0. Okay. These are we call integers. Okay, if you want to store these kind of integers in computer in the C programming, we use the data type called int. Int use 4 bytes. It is depends on the computer architecture. Okay, that whether 2 bytes or 4 bytes depends on the computer architecture. Most modern computers currently use 4 bytes. Okay, 4 bytes for the integer. I told you 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. 4 bytes mean 8 into 4, 32 bit. Okay, int use 32 bits, that means 4 bytes to store a number in a computer. And the float is used to store decimal places. In the integer, you cannot store decimal places. That means if you need to save 7.5, 8.92, so those things you cannot save in an integer variable. Okay. if you need to use this kind of decimal numbers, floating point numbers, you need to use a different data type called float. It is used to store decimal numbers, numbers with floating point values with a single precision. Okay, single precision mean the spaces available for the floating point values are limited for the single precision. Okay, that means accuracy of the what do you call decimal places is low in float. But if you need higher accuracy of the decimal places, you need to go for a higher part called double. Okay, double is used to store decimal places, numbers with floating point value with double precision. Okay, so it can store more decimal places rather than the floating point. Okay, float වලට වඩා වැඩි දශම සංඛ්‍යා ප්‍රමාණය doubles වල save කරන්න පුළුවන්. Okay, but it need higher memory than the float. Okay, if the memory matters, then you can go to the float, but accuracy matters, then you have to go to the double. මට හරියටම දශම ස්ථාන ගොඩක් accuracy වලට ඕන නම් double වලට යන්න වෙනවා. හරි, ගොඩාක් දුරට දශම ස්ථාන ගොඩාක් accuracy එකට දශම ස්ථාන මේ දෙකකට වගේ ඇති නම් ඒ වගේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා නම් අන්න float වලට වගේ යන්න පුළුවන්. Okay, but in the most cases we need the accuracy, therefore we move to the double. Okay, so when you want to print some values on the screen using the printf function, you have to use a format. Okay, if you are using the integer value to be shown in a particular screen, you have to use the D. Okay, percentage D. Percentage is a special symbol, and after that D to indicate this is an integer. Okay, and if you want to print a char, you have to use percentage C, and if you want to use the float, you have to use percentage F. If it is double, you have to use LF. LF mean long float. Okay, මේ double කියන්නේ float එකේ දීර්ඝ ආකාරය long float කියලා කියන්නේ. එතකොට LF කියලා තමයි දාන්නේ. Double if it is long float LF. Okay, I will show you one example. Printf. Let's say char example that I need to print character value. Let's say character value called K. So usually you can put the K and you can run it here. But that is not the way that if you want to print the K is somewhere else stored on your computer, you can use percentage C. Percentage C, that means here. It is a character. Okay. After that, after this double quotes, you need to put a comma and you need to provide single quotes that what is the value to be printed. It is K. Okay, now it is K. Okay, but if you use D, what happened? Okay, if you use D and run this one, you can see it is 107. 107 mean when you use the K, I told you it is a character. Character use 8 bits. Okay, however, ones and zeros will be there. Okay, that ones and zero, if you print using the D, that means integer value. The integer value of character K is 107. Okay, that means when you save this one, it is there is a decimal value available, no, that base 10 value, that value will be printed instead of this one. Okay, that is the meaning of the specifier. Percentage D means just an integer value. It printed the integer value of the K. K කියන character එකේ integer value එක තමයි print කරන්නේ. Okay, let's say the A. You can see A is 97. then B should be 98. B is 98. Likewise, it will give you the ASCII characters for the values. If you use percentage %D, that character in decimal format will be printed. If you want to print it in the character format, you have to use percentage %C. Okay, then it can print the B. Okay, suppose that now I need to print the integer value. Then you do not need this kind of single quotes. You can put 97 or whatever the one and print. Okay, you know 97 in character format, it is character letter A. Okay, but if you need to print 97 as it is in the integer format, then you have to use D. Then you can see it is 97. I think you guys can you can get an idea of what does it mean by percentage %D and percentage %C. Let's take a floating point value. 97.7 and print in percentage %F. So 97.700 likewise. Suppose that now you have several decimal places. 7657. 7657. Another decimal places. 76 57 57. 76 57 and 57, because it has limited decimal places. All the characters cannot be printed. Sorry, all the decimal places, floating point numbers cannot be printed in the floating point numbers. But I think if you use LF, you can go up to that one. Sorry, that is not the case. That 76 57 46, that is a default value is going to be printed. Whether it is a double or one, it print only 6 decimal places in the percentage LF. Okay, now percentage F also the same output. Okay, suppose that now you need to print how many? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, if you need to print all the 8 characters, by default it print up to the 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6. By default it print up to 6 decimal places. So if you need to print more decimal places, then you have to provide how many decimal places need to be print. 0.8 mean up to 8 decimal places. Okay, 0.4 mean up to 4 decimal places. So when you run this one, you can see it is up to 4 decimal places. Okay, and same thing for the LF. Suppose that you are using a double, then you can use LF, then you can use same output up to 4 decimal places. Let's say you need 10 up to 10 decimal places. Any questions up to here? Yes, there is a question again. So can we use I instead of D for the integer? I think I you cannot use for the integer because use percentage I likewise. I sample integer for the byte. It also works, but usually we use percentage %D. I'll check and let you know whether the I has a different meaning or not. I also you can use that for the integer. but I have no idea whether that I has a different meaning in the C programming language. I'll check and let you know. By default, for the integers, we have to use %d. Okay. And the next one is, who is the person that D always KKIT? Do you understand that? I don't know whether that I is, the meaning is for the integer or different value. I'll check and let you know. However, it works. Okay. And next question. Okay. Rules for naming C variables. Okay, now we will move to the variables. Store that value, store that integer, character, whatever. Here you print that values. No, before you print it, you can store that values. Okay, to store that value, you need to use the variables. The variable name must be begin with the letter or underscore. It cannot be start from a digit. Okay, digits are not allowed, but you can put the digits in the middle or what you call end of the name, but starting point you cannot use digit. The starting the variable name must be begin with letter or underscore. Okay, and the variables are case sensitive. Okay, they can be construct using digits and letters. Okay, they can be used construct digits and letters, but digits cannot be used at the starting point. Okay, no special symbols are allowed other than the underscore. Okay, that means hash at this kind of signs you cannot use rather than the underscore. Okay, let's declare a variable. If you want to declare a variable, first you need to provide the type of the variable. Okay, here I told you there are 4 types of data types available. The type should be provided, whether int, char, float, or double. Let's say first one is int. Let's say int a. Okay. Second one is char. Let's say char b. Okay. Data type. After that, the variable name. You can use whatever the variable name. Variable name should be start from a or underscore. You can use underscore a likewise. But you cannot use 9a likewise. It is not allowed. Okay. You can use a9. It is allowed. But the starting point should be letter or underscore. Okay. And the float k and double r. You can use whatever the name. Okay. Not only the one character. If you want, you can use multiple characters. AK, BIR, AEL, RADH. Likewise, you can use the variable name. Okay. And this is the declaring of part. Okay. Variable should be declared in the C program before use. If you want to use whatever the one, it should be declared first likewise. Variable initialization means assigning the value to the variable. Okay. Now the value is declared. Sorry, the variable is declared. The 4 variables has been declared, but not initialized. That means there are no any values available. දැන් මේවා declare කරලා තියෙන්නේ කිසිම එකක value එකක් නැහැ. int ak කියලා කියව අපි simple names පාවිච්චි කරමු. Let's say a b c d. Okay, the int a, but there is no any value 10 or 20. The value does not available. So if you want to put a value, you can put a equal 67 and semicolon. Each line should be entered with semicolon. Therefore, I put the semicolon. Now, variable a is declared here and initialized here. Okay, variable a declared at line number 4. So here you can see line number 1, 2, 3, 4. Variable a is declared at the line number 4, but initialized at the line number 9. Variable a කියන එක declare කරලා තියෙන මෙන්න මෙතන line number 4 එකේ. නමුත් ඒක initialize කරලා තියෙන line number 9 එකේ. is initialized at the line number 9. Okay. And the B is, let's say, T. Since it is a character, you need to include within the single quotes. Okay, one character. You can store only one character, TO, KO, whatever the character you like, you can store. The B is declared at line number 5, initialized at line number 10. Then C is equal 3.78. Since it is floating point number value, we can put the floating point decimal places. The float that C is declared at line number 6 and initialized at line number 11. And the D is equal 6. So variable D is declared at line number 7, initialized at line number 12. Okay, now you can see according to this example, variables are declared in somewhere and initialized in another place. Okay, but you can do this one in the same line. That means A is 67. Here you can see equals 67. Okay, then you can remove this part. Okay, now variable A is initialized at, declared at line number 4, initialized at line number 4. Therefore, both declaration and initialization at the same line. That is also possible. Here also you can put B is equal F or whatever the character, and C is equal 89.98. D is equal these kind of things. Okay. Then remember that now I am going to print those values. Now I remove this part. Both declaration and initialization happen at the same place. Now I need to print this value. Instead of 97, I need to print this 67. It is the variable A. Then what you can do, instead of 97, you can put A. A means that variable. It has 67. The 67 should be printed on the screen. So when you run this program, you can see, so actually not the char example, it is, let's say just an example. Example 67. Okay, but if you use percentage C, the character representation of 67 is going to print here. Okay, 67 mean it is character C. C mean not this variable C, the 67. 67 mean in the ASCII character is C. Okay, now percentage D mean this one. I will use another printf function for the other things. If you want, you can use the same thing. Let's say I want to print B, then B here percentage C. B is a character, so character F. So I can use this one. Example 67, that means A is 67, and example F. B mean F. Okay, you can see it both are in the same line. Okay, if you want to go to the next line, what you can do? You can use /n here or otherwise /n here. Okay, example F. If you want to get the decimal place of the character F, then you can use percentage D. Then it is 102. Okay, here I use a percentage C and I am going to put the floating point number. Here use /n and print the same example. Floating point number is %f. Character is C. Okay. So you can see the floating point numbers 8.9, 98, and you guys may think that why there is a 3 at the ending of the line. Okay. So let's see, this is a double and try to run this program. Now you can see there is no 3 available. That is why you all told you the floating point numbers, the matters the accuracy. If you use this kind of thing, so it's give you the accurate value, but the value may be little bit different at the end. I told you that if the accuracy matters, then you know that here the 89.98, here 89.98, after that the small different available. If the accuracies matter, you need to go for the double. Okay, let's print the double value. Yeah, use /n. Here use the D. Okay, 456.23. Okay, since this is a double value, it's better you put LF here, long float. Same here, but you can use the F also. F means floating point numbers. However, this is a double, therefore it print the accurate value. Okay, variable declaration part I already done. Variable initialization part also done. Now I am going to do the some example. Let's take this one. Okay, before you need to learn the scanf function. No? Okay, before going to that function, I will do simple arithmetic operation. Okay, let's say you need to get an integer variable int x, int y, int answer, ans. Okay, let's say x variable is 7 and the y variable is 9, and I need to get an arithmetic operation addition of x and y variable. Okay, and put it to the answer variable. I need to do simple arithmetic operation. X is 7 and y is 9. The addition of x plus y is 7 plus 9, that means 16. Okay, then you can put the answer is equal 16. 16 means the addition of this one. But this 16 you have been done by your human brain. Okay, it is not required to do that one. Computer can calculate the 7 plus 9. So what you can do is you can use answer is equal x plus y. Okay. Now you can see that this hash include stdio is not in the colored like previously. Why? Can someone explain why this is in a different color? Can anyone explain?
So that may be because we are not using the standard input output, like not inputting anything or outputting anything from this program.
Yes, exactly correct. We are not using any inputs and outputs, standard inputs and output in our standard program. Therefore, this line is not required. You can remove this line and run this program. For computer, just run without this one. It run and there is no any output, but whatever the programming stuff happened and that program executed successfully. But there is no any inputs and output. Printf functions, that means output mean printf function is not there. That is why I put that one again here. That is why it is not in a colored line. That compiler, that means for IDE gives you, but if you wrote this one in a normal notepad, you won't get it. That means you won't notify this one. Okay, that thing that I need to print that answer on the screen. Then we can use printf answer. Now you can see it is highlighted because the printf function required the standard input and output. Print answer is, then you can use percentage %d because answer of this one is an integer type variable, therefore percentage %d. After that, if you want, you can use the /n, go to the next line. Then comma, after the double quotes comma, then you can put the answer variable. You can add these two numbers and show it on the screen. Okay, now answer is 16. Okay, now you cannot remove, I think if you remove this one, it actually the IDE support for this one, but usually when you run this one, it won't work without this hash input because the printf function won't work. That is why it is in red color. Okay, but I think IDE may automatically include on behalf of you, but in the actual compilation process, this should be included because there's a printf function. Okay, now I will go to the next one called get the input from standard input, that means keyboard. Now you know how to output things. You can do the arithmetic operations and get the output. Okay. Now suppose that this x and y variable 7 and 9 should be what do you call should be entered by a user through the keyboard. Okay, then you need another function called scanf. Okay, scanf, the S stand for the formatted. Scan mean scan the input from the keyboard. F mean formatted in the format way. Whether it is formatted mean whether it is a what do you call integer value or character value or float value. Likewise, take with the format you can get the input to the your program. Okay, how do you get this one? You can use scanf, and here the format should be specified. F stand for the format. Format means which kind of value you are going to take from the keyboard. That means whether if it is a character, integer, float, or double likewise. Okay, since I need to get the x and y value, they are integer values. Therefore, I need to use, for the integer values, format is integer value format is %d. Okay, here I use %d. %d, and after that, you know that in the printf function you have to put the comma and make a variable. Likewise, here also you have to put the comma and put the variable name where to store the value. From the keyboard you are going to take the integer input. Let's say user enter 7. That 7 should be included in the variable x. Okay, therefore you have to pass the x variable here. After that, semicolon. And remember that it is very important to notice that in front of the x variable, you have to provide and sign. Okay, not the printf function, but the scanf function, you have to provide the and sign in front of the variable name. Okay, at this moment, you won't understand what does it mean by and sign. Actually, and sign mean it is the reference of the x variable. Okay, that means actual location of the x variable, because a standard input, when you want to put that value, scanf function required where is the actual x value in the memory. if you want to get the actual location of the x value, you have to put the and sign in front of the variable name. Okay, don't worry that you will be learned those things when you come to the pointers part in the C program. Okay, that how do you handle the pointers and reference variables. Okay, so this is actually we mean the reference variable. Therefore, you have to use and sign in front of the scanf function. Okay, then what happened? The x variable will be taken by the what do you call keyboard. Okay, and the y variable also you can get scanf percentage d and y. Okay, then what happened? You already added 7 and 9 to the here. After that, you are taking the keyboard input. Is it correct? No, because computer execute sequentially one by one. First assign x is 7, after that x y is 9. Then what happened? You are taking the scan input. After that, you are providing. The addition happened before you take the input. මේ දෙක එකතු කරලා තියෙන්නේ keyboard input ගන්න කලින්. එහෙම අරන හරියන්නේ නැහැ. keyboard input ගත්තට පස්සේ තමයි එකතු කරන්නේ. So therefore the line should be taken after this one. Then you can print this value. Okay, then it is not required to initialize the variables here. Therefore I remove. You can get the input from the standard input and you can run this program. Now you may think that there is no any output. Okay, but computer is waiting for the x variable because it execute the line number 4, 5, 6 and the 8. At the line number 8, the program is waiting for user input. Okay, let's say you enter 8 and press enter. Then computer wait for the second input. Let's say 5 and press enter. After that, it give you the answer as 13. 8 plus 5. Okay, then what happened? Actually, when you run this program, the user gets confused. Why? What to do now? Now you also get confused. Now cursor is blinking. What to do? Therefore, as a better user experience, before you take the variable from the user, let the user know what to do at this moment. Okay, that means I stop this program. So you can stop the program from execution from this line. And before you take this one, you can use the printf function and ask the user to enter the value for the x. Enter, let's say enter an integer for x and put this one likewise. Ask user to do this one. Okay, likewise before the y variable, again ask user to enter y variable, otherwise user get confused. Enter the variable for y. Okay, now you can run this program. Okay, now it's asked enter an integer for x. Now user can understand I need to enter an integer value here. Let's say 45 and press enter. Enter an integer for y. Okay, let's say 30 and press enter. Answer is 75. Any questions up to here?
Sir,
Yes.
when I may try to run make this program, there is a certain squiggly line below scanf, and it's suggesting me to use strtol or something,
Mm,
even though the program works.
can you show your screen? Actually, I have no idea when you express it. If you can share your screen, then I can give you a solution. Can you share your screen now? Is it possible at this moment? Is it possible to share your screen?
So it's possible, right?
Yeah. Okay. Now, what happened when you run this one?
No, the program executes just fine.
Huh?
This scanf and scanf functions have a little squiggly line below them.
Squiggly line.
And there's this exclamation mark with warnings, and it shows C-line ID, blah blah blah, using
That
consider
is
using str.
line type scanf function used to convert string to an integer value. But function will not report conversion errors. So what you have done, int main, int x, int y, int answer, printf number 1, and the scanf percentage d and x, and format 1, number 2, scanf, and percentage y. Seems to be there is no any issue, but
It even works fine.
okay, I'll check. What is that ID? Is it C-line ID?
Yeah, it's C-lines.
This is the scanf. I'll check and let you know. Seems to be your scanf function is okay.
It's working. It's working.
Hmm.
It's just showing some suggested method. I think it thinks there's a better method.
That client ID scanf function used to convert the string value to an integer value, but the function will report the conversion errors. Percentage D.
I'll send a screenshot to sir.
Okay, I'll check and let you know what was that error. Okay, at this moment I don't have such idea what does it mean. Seems to be you have been written that one perfectly. I'll check and let you know. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Full stop this.
Okay, now we have completed up to here declaration and variable declaration, scanf function, and the local variables and the global variables. Okay, at this moment, it is not possible to explain the local and the global variable without knowing the functions in the C programming. But I will give you the brief idea, the local variables. The scope of the local variable is within the function only. That means if you declare this variable int x, you can use this x anywhere. That means you can use that x here. You can, when you add in this one, you can use x and y within the declaration block. Here you can see the starting block of the main program and ending block of the main program. Outside of this block, you are not allowed to use this x and y variable. That is the meaning of local variable. This x and y, that x, y, and answer, there are three variables that is only belongs to the main function. Okay, within the main function, that main function start at this point and this point, you can use anywhere of starting and ending of this point after the declaration. Anyway, I mean, that mean you declare the line number, you declare the answer at line number 6. After the line number 6, up to this 15. That means after the up to this point, you can use the answer in anywhere. Okay. Before this one, you cannot use that answer is 9 or something. It is not possible because you declared at this point, you can use this one after this one. Likewise, it is possible. Okay. However, the variables, that local variables, we call these are local variables, they are inside the specific method. Okay. and the global variables. The scope of the global variable will be throughout the program. These variables can be accessed from anywhere of the program. Okay. So these are the example from the local variables int a, b, c. That means if you want, you can use x, y likewise. So otherwise you can use x, comma, y, comma, answer. That means without using this so many lines, you can use one line to declare the variables x, y, and answer. Likewise here, that is also possible. After that, you can assign, then this one output should be C. These are the local variables. And when you come to the global variables, that variable is defined without the, outside of the function. The variable is declared outside of the function. For the global variables, for the local variables, the variable is defined inside the function. Okay. Here also you can use int k. Okay, you can use it anywhere. That means within this block, outside of this block. So whatever the where, these are the global variables you can use. Here also you can use. So k is equal 89. Likewise, you can use that variable. Okay, this is a global variable. These are local variables. Next one is constants. Okay, constants mean constants mean that is also a actually it is not a variable. It is looks like this kind of variables, but value cannot be changed. So then we cannot use the name called variable. Variable means the value can be varied. These are the variable. Value can be changed. That means you can use answer is let's say now when you run this program, you can see you have to enter 78 and 67. It will give you the answer as 185. Okay. Suppose that after you get the answer, you are going to change that answer. Answer is 9. Okay. Then what happened when you execute this one? Let's say 67 and 56. But the answer is 9. Why? After you add that answer, that 57 and 67 and 47, the specific value will be assigned, that 100 and whatever the value. After that, what happened? You change that value to the 9. Then you print that value here. කොච්චර එකතු කරත් වැඩක් නැහැ. පස්සේ මේක වෙනස් කරනවා 9ට. That is the meaning of variable. Variable can be changed. If you want, you can change. So then it print 9. That is the meaning of the variable. But the constants mean, so once you assign, it cannot be changed. For an example, you have to use const. The variable name, let's say integer type variable, let's say h. Okay, you have to assign the value at this moment, 45. Okay, let's say h is, here I use the h variable. Here I remove this scanf functions and these variables, and after that I use h is 45. Okay, now likewise answer 9, I try to change h is 78. Okay, when you try to compile this program, it give you failed. The const mean once you assign, the value is fixed. No one can change. That is the meaning of constants variable. Okay, it is always 45. You cannot change it anywhere. Constants කියලා කියන්නේ දැම්මොත් දැම්ම ආයෙ වෙනස් කරන්න බෑ. Okay, that is the value. Okay, for an example, if you have a specific value, okay, you can put it in the constants variable. That means specific value mean, for an example, mathematical formula. Okay, you know that mathematical formula, that 5 value, you know that mathematical 5 value, there is a value available 3.14 or something. Then you can use constants in 5 mean pi or something. You can use 1. Sorry, 3.14. I can't remember. What is the phi value? Three 3.14, this kind of value, that it is a fixed value. Let's say up to this point, it is fixed. So that kind of fixed values you can assign. Actually, it is not an integer value. You can use float or double. Const double phi. Then you can use that phi. It is percentage f. Then you can use h is, sorry, not the h here, phi. Phi is 3.1. You know that phi value won't change. No, it is fixed value. Likewise, mathematical e value. There is a value. Max e value. So this is the value. It is fixed. So those fixed values, if you need those fixed values in the programming language, if you need to do some mathematical stuff, you can use const double e is equal. This is the value. Okay. Okay. Then there is another one. Question. We also can use hash define to. So which the best practice for const? Yes, there's another way. This is a one way of defining the const value. And another way of defining the const value is hash define. After that constant's name, after that constant's value. I think there is a mistake. This const should be come to the next line. That means this is an example. This const should be come to the next line. So what you can do, next one is constants value, hash define this one, after that constants value. Here you can use hash define, after that the constants name and the constants value. Okay, it is not required to put the data type as double, whatever the one. Let's say constants name is 5 and there is no any space available. This value. Okay, then I remove this one because the 5 is already defined here. Therefore, I remove this one. Okay, hash define 5 value. This is one way of defining. This is another way of defining. Okay, if you are using if you are defining inside in this way, remember that you have to put the const keyword and the data type, after that name, after that equal this one. And here hash define, there is no any const keyword, there is no any data type. Okay, data type can be automatically fixed by this value, and there is no any equal sign. Okay, and remember that here also you can see there is a hash. Hash mean this line won't be compiled, it will be pre-processed. Okay, before the compilation process happen, this value is pre-processed. This value is pre-processed, and the phi value will be assigned in the memory before the compilation. මේ කෑල්ල compile වෙන කලින් වෙන එක. මෙහෙ දැම්ම නම් compile වෙනකොට තමයි වෙන්නේ. I think yes. In this moment, I think this would be after the compilation. If you use the hash define, yeah, if it is hash define, it will be pre-processed. But I don't know whether this one is pre-processed or compilation. I will check and let you know. However, this is pre-processed. If you use the hash keyword, this is the pre-processing part. Defined in the constants variable. Okay, the next one is the arithmetic operations, the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and the remainder. I already did for the addition part. We can do the other stuffs. Let's say I remove this part also. Let's say int x equals 7, int y equal 9, then int answer equal x plus y. Printf answer is percentage %d/n, and you can provide answer. If you want, you can take the keyboard input for the x and y, but here I just hard code the value, the simple addition, 16. Okay, let's say this is 10 and this is 7, then the value is 17. However, if you want, you can take the 10 and 7 from the keyboard input also. Likewise, you can use the subtraction. Okay, subtraction means x minus y, that 10 minus 7, that means 3. Answer is 3. Addition, subtraction, and the multiplication. Multiplication means star. Multiply 7 into 10 into 7, that means 70. So answer is 70. And the next one is division. Divide the number. And remember that when you use the division, it will give you only the integer value, not the decimal. You know, the 10 divided by 7 is 1 point something. Okay, but the point value will be automatically ignored and assigned to, sorry, give you only the one value. But if you need the floating point values also, if you need the decimal places, then you need to convert these integers to the double or float. That means the value should be double, and the int, this one should be double, and here also should be double, and here you have to use percentage f. Then you can take it is after you divide 1.428. Okay, if you need the decimal places, you need to convert this one to the double or float. Integer division, it's give you only the that mean I'll show you that. Let's say you have x is 23 and y is 7. Okay, I need answer is x divided by y. Then what happened? If you use x divided by y, then actually what happened? 23 divided by 7. 23 you have to divide by 7. Okay, just simple division. Okay, how many values available? What is the value you can put here for the 23? Now simple mathematical division. What is the value you can provide here for the 23?
3, sir.
Sorry?
3, sir.
3, yes. Okay, when 7 times 3, you have to put 7 into 3. It is 21. Okay, it is 21. Then what is the remaining value? What is the remaining value?
2.
It is 2. Okay, so if
It's 2, right?
Sorry?
2.
Yeah, it's 2. Okay, now when you divide 23 by 7, the upper value is 3 and remaining value is 2. When you use integer division, you can get this 3. I will show you that example, not the double. If you use integer value, int x is 23, int y is 7, int answer is x plus x divided by 1, sorry, x divided by y, and you can provide this one. The answer is 3. Okay, you can get only this value. If you need the floating point, the further division, that means take the 20 and 3.2. Likewise, if you want to get the floating point numbers, then you need to at least convert the last one to the double. Take this one as a double, but this integer division also, what do you call that if you run this one, that is also exactly 3. Sorry, here you have to use percentage f. The 3.00, the floating point values won't be there. Why? Because the right side x and y are integer values. So integer division automatically gives only the 3. Therefore, either side you need to convert to the double. Then you can put brackets and convert it to the double and provide the answer. Then you can get the floating point value. Remember that integer division won't give you the floating point value. Integer division එකක් විතරයි නම් තිබ්බේ floating point values ගන්න බෑ. You can get only the whole number. Here percentage D. You can get only the whole number. Okay. And the next one is remainder, the percentage sign. Okay, the percentage sign, you can get the remainder value. Now you know the 23 divided by 7, the whole component is 3. This is the remainder. If you want to get the 2 remaining value, then instead of this division, you can use percentage, that remainder. Divide x by y. That divide 23 by 7 and the remainder value is 2. Put that 2 to the answer. Then you can get this value. Answer is 2. Let's say 22. If you take 22, only 1 is the remainder. Remainder is 1. If you use 21, 21 means 21 can be perfectly divisible by 7. Then what is the remainder? Remainder is 0. There is no remaining value. So remainder is 0. If you want to get the remaining value, you have to use this percentage sign. Okay, that means remainder symbol. If you want to get the whole number, that 3 or something, then you have to use this one. 3. If you want to get the divisible by the 3 divisible by 7, 23 divisible by 7 with every numbers, that means decimal places, then you need to convert these integer values to the float or double. Okay, now I think you guys has a proper idea of this one. And the assignment operator. Okay, I think it's better I will do this assignment operator when I come to the operators section. So there is a lab sheet available called operators for in the future lab session. I will show you what does it mean by x plus equal y minus equal y. There is a different meaning. Okay. Okay, now I will come to the some exercises. Actually, you guys need to do this exercise. I will give you example of 1 or 2 questions. Then the rest of the questions should be done by yourself. Okay, and you have to upload it to the Moodle. Okay, now time is 8:15. Okay, I'll do 1 or 2 example. Okay, take this, read this exercise carefully. Write a program to calculate the area and circumference of a circle. Okay, that means if you get a particular circle, you have to get the area. Area means this kind of one. And circumference mean here, this one. The area කියන්නේ වර්ගඵලය, circumference කියන්නේ පරිධිය. Okay. Suppose that the radius of the circle R is given by the user. Okay. if the radius is 7, you need to convert what is the area and what is the circumference. Okay, you know that already we have that formula to calculate the area and the circle. Okay, you know, for the area can be calculated by 5r squared. Okay, you already know that you learned this from the grade 8 or 9. Okay, and the circumference is equal to 5r. 2 into 5 into r. Okay, now you have the formula. You know 5 is a constant value. It is 3.14 or something. R is given by the user. Then you can calculate the area. Here also the C, the 2 is constant value. It is not fixed. Sorry, it is not a variable. It is fixed value. 5 also 3.14. It is a fixed value. R is a variable. Should be entered by the user. Okay. Now we can write this program. Ask the user to enter the ask the enter to user the radius, then we can calculate the area and the circumference. So how you can do this one? You have to declare the variables. Okay, so int, let's say for the radius we use r. Okay, and the circumference cum, let's say circumference c, and the area a. Okay, here I use the integer value, but you know when you are going to calculate the area and the circumference, the phi value is a floating point number. Therefore, when you calculate, the area may have the decimal points, floating point number. Therefore, it's better you go for the double or float for the area and the circumference. Double and double. And the radius also, it can be 7.2 or something. No, when you use enter, therefore it's better for the radius also we use the double. Okay, now we have the variables. Then we can ask the user to enter the radius value. So you can use printf. Let's say enter radius. Then you can take that keyboard input. How to get the keyboard input? Scanf. Okay. Now we are going to save that one in the R variable. Okay, R is a double. Therefore, you have to use percentage LF. Okay. Then comma, the percentage F also correct, the floating point number. But since it is double, I think we can use the LF. And the R variable. Okay. I told you always in front of the R, you must provide and sign. Okay, now we have the R. Now we can calculate. R is in the R variable. Now you can calculate the circumference and the area. So circumference is equal. How to get the circumference? 2πr. Okay. 2 multiplied by 5 is 3.14 or something, and multiplied by R variable. Okay. So it is better you provide this 2 and 5 in a different constants variable. That means here hash define 5 value 3 point, let's take this one. Okay, now this is our constants variable. So instead of putting this one, we can use that 5 value. Okay, the 2 also you can provide the another hash define the constants 2, but here I put the 2 as it is. Okay. Okay, now calculate the area. Area is equal 5r squared. Okay, the 5 value into r into r. Okay, now what you can do, you can give the output. It asks write a program to calculate the area. Now you can display it to the user. Printf area of the circle. The area, you know, it is double, therefore you have to use percentage LF /n. After that, you can provide that variable area A. Okay, I copy this one and paste it here. So next one is circumference. Put it here, circumference of the circle. Here you have to put C. Okay, let's run this program and check whether it works properly. So ask for enter the radius. Let's say radius is 7. So area of the circle is 153, whatever the value, and circumference of the circle 43, this one. So if you think the decimal places are too high, then you can limit this one to the 2 decimal places. So how to put the 2 decimal places? 0.2. That means 0.2 LF. Here also 0.2 LF, up to 2 decimal places. So when you can run, let's say 7, its area is this one and circumference is this one. I don't know whether these values are correct or not. If I did the formula correctly, the answer should be correct. Okay. Anyone has issues up to now? Up to here, do you have any issues? No issues. Okay, now there is another one. Write a program to input temperature in centigrade and convert it to the Fahrenheit. Okay. Ask user to enter the temperature in centigrade and you need to calculate it to the Fahrenheit and show it to the user. Okay, the formula is given. You can search in the internet also what is the conversion of Fahrenheit to the centigrade to the Fahrenheit. So this is the formula. So what you can do, you can declare the variables. So I do not need any constants variables. I need the, let's say, double Celsius value, double Fahrenheit value. Okay, user need to enter the temperature in centigrade. User need to enter the temperature in centigrade. Enter temperature in centigrade. Okay, then scanf function, you can use LF, put it to the centigrade variable C. Okay, now what you can do, we can calculate the Fahrenheit value. How to calculate the Fahrenheit? F is equal Fahrenheit value. What is the formula? Celsius multiplied by 9 divided by 5. Celsius value multiplied by 9 divided by 5 and plus 32. The Celsius value multiplied by 9 divided by 5 and 32. Remember that if the Celsius value is an integer value, then integer value multiplied by 9 and divide by 5 also an integer value, floating point won't be get. Okay. So here now doesn't matter. The C is a what you call C is a floating point value. The floating point, that means double value, floating point value, that multiplied by 9 also a floating point value. Then you divide by 5, you can get the floating point value. After that, you have to add 32. Okay, then you can display temperature in Fahrenheit. No? Temperature in Fahrenheit. Yeah, F. Okay, now try to run this program. temperature in centigrade, let's say 36. The temperature in Fahrenheit, it is, I think, correct. The normal, the human body temperature is 36 or something, no? 36 or 37, I can't remember. Then I think it is 37, no? Let's say 37, the human body temperature. Yeah, Fahrenheit also 98. The formula is correct, seems to be. Any questions up to here? The rest of the questions you have to do yourself, and if you have any issues, I will explain that one in the next lab session. I will put a link to the Moodle to upload the answers. Let's say lab sheet 2. What is the due date? I think today is August 19th, no? August 19. Can you upload it by Wednesday 23? Because there are a few questions available now. In the lab sheet, how many questions? 7 questions available. So 23rd of August. Let's say due date is 23rd at midnight. Okay. Okay, now you can see there is a, I will go to the student view, switch role to student. Okay, now this is the student view. You can see there is a lab sheet 2. When you open this one, you can see 4 days remaining. You can click the add submission. And if you have, you can submit in different ways. So you can upload up to the 20 files. That means this question has 7 questions. No? You can upload 7 source C files. That means how do you get this one? That you can, suppose that this is the answer for the first one. You can rename this one as q1.c and upload this one. You can just drag and drop to here. Then you can answer likewise. Likewise, if you the second one, drag and drop to here. Or otherwise, you can compress that one to a one zip folder and upload it to the Moodle. Okay. Or otherwise, there is a text area available. You can provide, you can submit the answers to the text area. That means, let's say this hello.c. So we can get this one. Suppose that this is your answer. You can copy this one and submit the answer to the here. Since you have more than one source files available, if you are using this editor, you may put a comment. This is Q1. Okay. Then you can put another comment Q2. Okay. Then provide the Q2 answer. Okay. Q1 here and Q2. Likewise, you can submit another comment Q3 and provide the answer likewise. You can use that way, or otherwise you can drag and drop the files to here, your C files. Okay, one by one. Or otherwise you can compress all the 7 files to a one zip folder and drag that zip file to the here. You can use whatever the way you like. However, submit the answers. So here I cancel this one. After that, you have to do the save changes. So now you have to add submission. After you did this one, you have to use the save changes. Okay, however, you have 4 days and 15 hours up to the midnight of Wednesday, August 23rd. Okay, now this is the end of the lab session. Before concluding the lab session, do you have any questions up to now? What are the things you learned so far? Do you have any questions? If you don't have any question, I can conclude the lab session. Seems to be there is a question. So again, there is a kindly request when you are sending so whatever the questions, put it to the public, because other students doesn't know what is the question. Or if it is a question belongs only to you, you can put a private direct message. Otherwise, put the message to the public. So should we name the folder in specific format? No, it is not required. You can use whatever the format you like. That means index number, whatever the name. However, you have to upload, because by using the login, we can identify who is the uploader, who is the user. It is not required to rename. You can use whatever the name you like. Any other question? And remember that this is actually the programming language is actually you cannot memorize everything. You have to think yourself. Actually, you need to memorize some kind of thing, some kind of extent. You have to practice this from your hand. You have to type everything, and there can be several errors. You have to identify what was the error, and you need to rectify that one. Then you have to get the experience yourself. Otherwise, you cannot pass this subject. Definitely you will be fail from the assignment and the practical assignments also. Okay, therefore do not try to memorize things like a parrot. Okay, you know, when you go to the parrot, he can that repeat whatever the things likewise. No? Therefore do not try to memorize the things like a parrot. Use your brain. Okay, use your brain. You have to improve your thinking ability when you are solving the problem. So when you come to this lab sheet, actually there is that huge log. That means simple logics are there. Since this is the first lab session, so that means the third one is write a third angle, because you know if you take a triangle, the summation of the three sides should be 180. So if the user given two sides, you can calculate the other side by 180 minus a and b. So these are very simple logics. Okay, since this is this is a first lab session, the logic is very simple. But when you come to the future lab session, there will be a deeper logics. Okay, to be solved. Okay, therefore you need to increase the thinking ability. Okay, don't use whatever the things. What does it mean by why do we need the LF? What is the meaning of LF? You need to get your idea. Okay, do not try to what do you call that? Memorize the codes. Do not try to memorize the code. You need to improve your ability and write the codes. Okay, අර ගිරව දානවා වගේ codes නම් කටපාඩම් කරලා මේ subject එක ගොඩ යන්න බෑ. හරි? කෝඩ් එකෙන් මොකද්ද කරන්නේ? ඇයි මෙතන double C කියලා ලිව්වේ? ඇයි මෙතන F කියලා දැම්මේ? ඇයි මේකට int නැතුව double කියලා අපි use කරේ? ඒකේ idea එක තියෙන්න ඕන මොකද කරේ කියලා. නැතුව මේ විදිහට temperature convert කරනවා නම් මෙහෙම තමයි කරන්න ඕන. මේක කටපාඩම් කළා නම් පගොඩ යන්න හම්බෙන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද මේක අහන්නේ නැහැ assignment වලටවත් exam වලට. Okay, we don't ask such questions again and again in the assignments and the final paper. Okay, therefore do not try to memorize the code as it is. Okay, you need to try it yourself. Okay, this is not the way of writing the code. So this is not the only way of writing the code. You can write this code whatever the way you like. Okay, so I kindly ask you to do not try to memorize the code as it is. Use your brain, improve your thinking ability. Okay, otherwise obviously you will be fail this subject. Okay, therefore keep it in your mind. You have to practice yourself. Okay, therefore you have to do it yourself. Do not upload the answers of the other students. Okay, you have to practice yourself and answer the upload to the Moodle before the deadline. Okay, since you don't have any questions, I am going to conclude the lab session and thank you for the participation.